This has been my family house for the past 2 years, and it's never been on my YouTube channel, and I think that says loads about how much content I've made recently. So for a long while now, I have been making videos like once every 5 or 6 months, and then at the end of each of those videos being like, I promise I'll make more soon, and then I never do. And I just kind of want to address that, so I think I just want to sit and talk candidly, honestly, about my relationship with this platform, how it's changed throughout my adolescence, and how I feel now about YouTube. I want this video to be off the cuff, I want it to be genuine, I want it to be unscripted, and you can tell I'm being sincere because in my script you can see it actually says that I wanted to make it unscripted, so you know that I'm being for real. So in order to have this conversation, I think first what I need to do is, take a look back, go through my content over the years, see how it changed, see what it meant for me, all those kinds of things. So first of all, my breakout video was 10 years ago when I was 11. I made a video called Ruby's River Fail, in which I basically just filmed this girl from my year who had fallen into a river. It was like a minute long, the quality was dreadful, I didn't edit it, but in my school at the time, it felt like it went viral. Everybody in my year was talking about this video for like 3 days. It sent shockwaves, and I felt like I was famous, and from that moment on, I had a taste for content creation, for visibility, for fame. I was hungry. I made sequels to that video, I made sped up versions of that video. It just turned into me filming whatever I could, whenever I could, whether that be like in the back of a car or like me and my friend at the park. It was just like anything that I could film on my little Samsung Galaxy Ace. Bottom tier phone, so dead. I'm by no means an internet veteran, don't get me wrong. I wasn't around for like early internet stuff like early Smosh or like Numa, that kind of thing. I was drawn to the internet when like Rage comics and Arrow to the Knee jokes were big. If you know, you know. The earliest content creators I like remember watching are, I was like 7 or 8, and that was Ed's World. Always a special place in my heart for them. I'll get into this more later, but the idea of like orchestrating a funny presentation of my own life for people I didn't know felt so empowering. It was liberating. Obviously I didn't realize at the time that my content was bad, but that's besides the point. And then vloggers became a thing. This is when things really kicked into gear. Most notably, Dan Is Not On Fire. Dan Howell's videos were like massively, crucially important to me. He was celebrated for being this like awkward, unconventional, performative comedy vlogger, and when I was 12, I saw those videos and I was like, I want that. So starting with a video called What I Did in Town Today, I started telling stories about awkward encounters I'd had and funny things that had happened to me, where I'd prop one camera up and it would have jump cut editing and I would just talk. Sound familiar? I got such a kick out of talking about my life online and constructing this character of Matt as some sort of like goofy, awkward, self-deprecatory, is that how you say it? Self-deprecatory, heavily queer-coded kid. The version of me in these videos wasn't the version of me in real life, and that was fine, but I built this character up. Oh my god, I did so many tag videos. The toilet tag, the death tag, the Christmas tag, the summer tag, the zombie apocalypse tag, the British tag, the Doctor Who tag. So many tag videos I remember doing where I just sat and I answered questions with campy answers to kind of demonstrate my performative personality. But over time, these videos were genuinely backed up by what I think was some original ideas. I developed a setup in my bedroom, and I had a weekly schedule, and like I kind of began getting into the motions of like being a proper YouTuber. What we aren't going to talk about though is the fashion. Oh my god. For me in school, there was a lot of expectations of what I was supposed to be, whether that be like codes of conduct or quite a strict uniform, or just embedded homophobia in a lot of teen life. It was institutional. Making comedy videos online, as cringy as they are to look back on now, they gave me a chance and an outlet to explore who I wanted to be, to kind of delve into my own identity and kind of see what fit and see what didn't. And slowly but surely, and I mean like slowly, over the course of years and not by much, my audience grew a little bit, and people would comment and celebrate the persona they were watching. And that felt great. At school, I had like 1 or 2 close friends in like year 9 or 10, but online, I had like 100 viewers every single week, consistently, every Sunday. And they were celebrating this persona that they were engaging with. And it wasn't much, but it felt like a second life. And I loved it. So at this point, I'm like 14 or 15, and I start to discover the small YouTube community. Mwah. Oh, so many creators from across the world, but mainly the UK, coming together to support each other's stuff in group chats and on Twitter, and they would just big up everyone's content, and it was so nice. Genuinely, it was the first space where I was openly gay, and I felt so happy and so comfortable in that, and I had so many friends who meant so much to me, and we've all kind of moved on now. But I still follow them all, and I love seeing what they're getting up to, and that community for me at that time was so important. I would name them, but if I started naming them, I'd forget people. So if you're watching, you know who you are, and you mean the fucking world to me. I look back on that time so fondly, but it was also about the same time that my obsession with Dan Howell kind of just exploded. I copied his haircut, I bought his bed sheets, I got a bloody Canon camera. Basically, I couldn't be tamed, and it was embarrassing, but a crucial part of my self-development. So no, I'm not embarrassed. Yes, I'm embarrassed. The 2 YouTube conventions I went to, Summer in the City, 2016, 2017, were crazy for me. As well as like meeting all the people that I'd only spoken to online, I had people coming up to me and asking me for photos, and then in school, I was unpopular. It just felt like the craziest contrast and the craziest dichotomy, and I really leaned into it. I really, really enjoyed it. I'd never felt so much pride in myself, and I'd never truly felt like I belonged in a community until this point. And it was wonderful. And this is when I think that my content started to peak as a result. Starting with a video called Intro to Ukuleles, which, first of all, one of the music teachers in my school found this video and would play it to the year 8s every single year when she was teaching them about ukuleles. And so, as a result, every single year around the same time, I'd have dozens of kids point at me and be like, Matt Evans! And I hated that. Really, really hated that. Never any sort of good commentary, just like, Matt Evans! Yeah, I know! After that, I posted my coming out video, which realistically is probably the most important video of my YouTube life. I was so lucky to have the apparatus and the YouTube background to be able to just come out like that, to make a video, drop it online, share it all over my social media, and then just disappear and let discourse happen, and then come back and I'm out. It was crazy. It was surreal. It was also an incredibly fake video. Literally, like, the video starts with me like turning on the camera and taking a deep breath and being like, hi, I'm gay. And it was like, I filmed that like 3 or 4 times, and it was like, it's incredibly mediated, entirely constructed, but still fundamentally a very real reflection of how I was feeling. So interesting to me. Anyway, this era of my channel was just like banger after banger. You know, the videos got good views, they were well received, they were funny, and they were topical. I did a video every day in that February, and then the same in that November. I just felt like I was on top form. I had a collab channel, which I destroyed and made YouTube drama, and I wrote a sketch, which Tom Scar produced, and I was getting all these comments being like, I'm here before you're famous, and I just felt like I was at the top of the world. I was just happy with myself, online and offline, you know? Offline I was more self-assured and confident, and online I felt successful, but it got to a point where my online self and my offline self began to get more and more similar. Since I'd come out, I was more and more happy to express myself offline, and I wasn't having to resort to the internet to do that, and as a result, my social circle began to grow. I made loads of friends who I loved spending time with, and I no longer had this need to like escape to the internet to like live out and pursue my true self. It felt like my true self was who I was around my friends. You know, doing theatre gave me the chance to spend time with my friends and perform on stage, and eventually I wasn't feeling the need to make content anymore. I was still making videos, don't get me wrong, but eventually it went from weekly to few and far between. And that's when I went to university in Brighton, and I became fully content expressing myself in the real world, you know? I no longer needed the online space to live out the alternate me. There was no alternate me. The online me and the offline me, it sort of just kind of merged into this one identity that I was happy being. So I stopped making videos, you know? I did Veda in lockdown, but that was kind of out of boredom, and it felt like I was just kind of the me that I was with my friends, but just sat in front of a camera. The videos that I did make, I wasn't pretending to be anyone. I wasn't trying to strive for some sort of success or performance. I just enjoyed making the content. I enjoyed engaging with the community. I never knew why I was so drawn to YouTube. I often thought that I was just because I wanted fame and I wanted success, but I don't think that's true anymore. I think YouTube gave me the ability to display a version of myself that wasn't attainable in the real world. A version of myself that was witty and camp and confident and funny. By coming out and losing so much of the insecurity around those things, I no longer felt the need to make videos and pretend to be a version of myself that had those traits. It was like I had gained those traits, or at least enough to the point where I was comfortable with myself. It was like I'd completed YouTube. I felt like I'd completed it. As a result, going forward, I don't really see myself using YouTube in the same way that I used to, and that's healthy. That's fine. I attribute so much of my formative years to what I was creating online, and that was so impactful into constructing me, and that's never going to change. It's so important to me. In secondary school, I knew so many people who started YouTube channels, made 1 or 2 videos, and then gave up because it wasn't for them. And for me, being able to display the most exciting parts of my personality was so crucial when I wasn't able to do that in real life. This isn't me ending my channel by any means. I think this is just me saying, I've done it. You know, everything I wanted to do, everything I set out to do, I've either achieved or I no longer need it anymore. The future is so open. I couldn't possibly say what I'm going to do next. You know, I could start making YouTube videos regularly. In a week's time, I might never make a video again, and both of those are perfectly fine. I'm moving to San Diego in about a week. Who knows where that's going to take me? I don't want to call this video like the end of my channel or something like that, because I don't think I can ever fully shut this channel down, you know? This channel has been so crucially important in the discovery of my identity, in my passion for videography, and in my understanding of the self. I hate doing this, it feels so cheap, but my camera's just run out of space, and it's basically the end of the video anyway, so thank you very much for watching. If you want to follow me, you can either subscribe to my... it's died as well. You can either subscribe to my channel, but I'd recommend following me on Instagram. It's probably the best way of seeing what I'm getting up to. If I post again, great. If not, that's great. That's growth. That's healthy. Anyway, see you around. Bye-bye.